Welcome into the Sporting Jacks Report. I'm Cole Pepper. Mauricio Ruiz is off this week, but that just means we get more time with Becky Burleigh. Coming up, the U.S. men's national team prepares for the Copa America, and there's some big news from the USL Super League. But let's start with the upcoming Premier League match in Jacksonville. We are just over a month away from the Stateside Cup kicking off here in Jacksonville between West Ham and Wolverhampton. And this week, a little pregame hype began. The mascots for both clubs were in town at Everbank Stadium to shoot some promotional pieces leading up to the match. Some other local mascots joined in as well, as did Mauricio Ruiz. That's not him. You'll see him in a second. There he is. Mauricio there with the Wolves and West Ham. And those two clubs will face one another on July the 27th. I spoke with Wolves senior marketing manager Todd Newton, who made the trip as well. And he told me that the trip to America is an exciting getaway and that the club is looking forward to making some new fans in Jacksonville and beyond.
Firstly, for us, it's a fantastic opportunity to engage with fans. It's great to obviously come over here and play our football, but for us, it's brilliant that fans get to experience that. It will be a mix for us from a club perspective. One, we want to go out into the community. We want to see fans that we haven't seen for over 40 years. And also we want to give them a really good game of football as well. Typically, especially in the UK, it's very, very hard to get new fans. But it's almost like a blank canvas here in the US. Yes, there are people that will have a team or will just be, an avid watcher of the Premier League. But it is really a good opportunity for them to make Wolves their team. For so many reasons, but the kit looks great, the crest is great, the style of football's good, and Robert Plant's a huge Wolves fan as well. So if that's not enough for a reason, I don't really know what is.
Yeah, if you're a big Led Zeppelin fan, why not, right? Becky, we've seen some English clubs come over and play, including Wolves back in 1981. But this is the first time we're seeing two Premier League clubs face one another in Jacksonville. Pretty exciting.
Yeah, I think what he said is so true. It's like a blank canvas. There's so many people here who have exposure to the Premier League, but maybe don't have a team. And to be able to get to see them up close and personal, it's time to pick. It's time to get on board. I love it.
Yeah, and the level of play I think we're going to see is going to be pretty strong considering this summer has Copa America and the Euro Cup. And so a lot of these teams will be welcoming players back into the fold. And it's not going to be far off from opening day. So I think the quality of soccer we're going to see is going to be outstanding.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. Sometimes when teams come over, you're not sure if you're going to see the first team or not. And I think this opportunity provides more of an opportunity for that to happen because of what you just said. I mean, when you get to see it up close and personal, I think Mauricio said this a couple weeks ago, like it is so different than watching it on TV. You just get a real appreciation for the pace, the athleticism, the communication, all the things that go into a game that you really can't pick up on television all the time.
All right, well, tickets are available now for the July 27th Stateside Cup, Wolves versus West Ham at Everbank Stadium. You see the information right there, statesidecup.com, and we'll have more for you as we get closer to kickoff of that matchup. Last week, Mauricio was among the thousands in Orlando to watch the U.S. men's team take on Brazil after a 5-1 loss to Colombia. The U.S. conceded first against Brazil, then came back to equalize on a Christian Pulisic free kick. The action was back and forth after that for both sides. Good chances for both Brazil and the U.S., but no more goals were scored. U.S. goalkeeper Matt Turner saved 11 shots, the most for a U.S. keeper since Tim Howard in the 2016 World Cup. It's the first time the U.S. has ever earned a draw with Brazil. They've only beaten Brazil once in 20 previous matches. This was a very good response after that miserable outing against Colombia. Becky, what did you take out of this game the most?
Well, I think after Colombia, there was no place to go but up. And the good news about that was they did respond. And, when you read about that game and you hear that Matt Turner made 11 saves, you think, oh, this was one-way traffic. But it really wasn't. I mean, the U.S. had some great chances. Clearly, Brazil did too. And Turner did a great job in goal of keeping a clean, not a clean sheet, but keeping them off the score sheet again. But I'll tell you what, the response, I think, showed that we have to trust the process with this men's national team and understand that we're capable of performances such as these and even better.
Yeah, there was a lot of outcry after the Colombia match for Greg Berhalter for his feeling of comfort and confidence and for the team's confidence in him. This match had to go a long way to helping kind of calm the waters a bit.
Yeah, it's really interesting, this whole Berhalter saga, I think, because I think, first of all, he has a very difficult job because you've got players that are playing all over the world in different leagues. And, somebody mentioned that, okay, we've come so far because we have so many players in Europeans or in Europe's Big Five league. So all those players that are playing over there. But with that comes the scrutiny from both the players and the fans. Is the coaching staff up to the same level as the players? Because a lot of people think this is our golden generation in the U.S. Let's make sure we don't waste that opportunity. But I think if you're with Berhalter and trusting the process and seeing that they can perform at this level, and like I said, even beyond this level, then you just have to give them an opportunity. And what better opportunity than what's coming up next for the men's national team?
Which, of course, is the Copa America. The next time the U.S. steps on the field, it will be in group play in Copa America. You see the schedule right here. It's a huge opportunity to make a statement in the largest tournament on the calendar for the U.S. this year, and really the largest tournament they'll have before the World Cup in 2 years. And we invite you to join us for our Summer of Soccer watch parties. Next up, it's the Copa America watch parties. We'll be at Grace Note Brewing under the Roosevelt Bridge between Ortega and Avondale for the matches that involve the U.S. men's national team in the group stage. We'll have prizes to give away and a chance for you to ask questions about Sporting Jacks. If you are a season ticket depositor, beers are buy one, get one free. It's free to attend, but please RSVP by going to sportingjacks.com. All right, time now for the Island Wing Company Game of the Week. And this week, it was a matchup between two of the best in the East, the Tampa Bay Rowdies and Louisville City. Let's go to Tampa, where Lou City came in unbeaten since April the 9th. Tampa had won 3 of their last 4. This one set up to be a good one. First half, scoreless through the first half hour until Tampa Bay takes advantage. Josh Perez able to have a nice little bring down right here, and then a perfect ball to Cal Jennings. And watch Jennings here out in front, finishes with style. Tampa Bay takes the 1-0 lead. Take another look at this deft touch by Jennings to get past the goalkeeper. Of course, he's one of the top goal scorers in the USL. But watch this move right here. Just a nice touch, just the proper weight. Not an easy angle either. That caught the crowd fired up in the Bay Area, and the Rowdies took a 1-0 lead half an hour in. Less than 5 minutes later, another chance for Tampa Bay. As you see, one more replay there. And this time it would prove to be a key moment in the match. Eddie Munjoma with the shot. It's blocked, but it comes back out to him. And then a foul in the box. It's a penalty. Lou City doesn't like it, but the referee points to the spot, and Manuel Arteaga takes it for the Rowdies. And Tampa is up 2-0. Looked like it would be 2-0 at halftime, but in the first half stoppage time, Louisville able to pull one back off a corner kick. Look how many chances for Louisville here. Jordan Farr with save after save, but he can't save the last one. Aiden McFadden scores to make it a 2-1 game at halftime. All right, second half now, and the momentum from that late goal before halftime seems to have carried over for Lou City. Another corner, Kyle Adams to Jorge Gonzalez-Asensi. It takes a bounce pass far, and we are level at 2. It will remain that way until stoppage time. And we get the stoppage time winner. Long ball to Pacifique Noyongburi, who puts it on a dive for Damian Rivera. That's the game winner. Tampa Bay hands Lou City just their second loss of the season, and the Rowdies continue to inch up the table. More on that in a moment. But Becky, this was as entertaining a game as you'll see, and a meaningful one in the standings as well.
Yeah, no doubt meaningful in the standings, because when you look at the top of that Eastern Conference, it's a crowded pack right there. And to have a game at this point in the season means so much, especially for Tampa to get that win against a team that's not given up a lot of losses very easily. That was a big one for sure.
This is one of those, again, we're about a third of the way through the schedule, but when you win that way in front of your home fans, there's just so much momentum that can be gathered. I don't know if you're a believer in momentum lasting until the start of the next game or beyond, but it certainly seems like Tampa should be able to take this victory and really ride it for a while.
Well, I think for sure, especially when you get a goal in stoppage time, it kind of shows your resilience. It looked like they kind of had that game in hand, and then things started to get away from them on the set pieces. But then to come back and to get the game winner at home, I mean, that's got to be something you carry with you into the next one.
No doubt about it. All right, let's check out scores from around the USL Championship from this past week's games. Some big scores here, including a 4-2 win by Colorado Springs Switchbacks, who have been one of the hotter teams in the West. A lot of goals scored this week. Maybe they come in bunches. We'll see if it continues. Let's take a look at the standings, starting with the Western Conference and New Mexico United. This is amazing. They're on top with 25 points despite a -1 goal differential. Hottest team in the West right now is Colorado Springs. They've won 4 and drawn 1 in their last 5. They've inched their way up to 4th in the table, and there's a real battle going on between 8th and 9th, between two teams trying to find their footing. Top 8 teams in each conference make the playoffs. Orange County and San Antonio have both lost 4 of their last 5 matches. Now looking at the Eastern Conference, where Louisville City remains on top, 32 points from 14 games, but just their second loss of the season, as we mentioned. Indy 11 is red hot as well. They've won their last 5 and have crept up to 3rd on the table. There's Tampa Bay in 4th. And again, Miami having a tough time of it right now, only 7 points from 14 matches for Miami FC. Those are the standings presented by Got Sport. When we come back, we'll get Becky's thoughts on the new USL Super League broadcast deal. And remember, you can become a member of Sporting Jacks. It's absolutely free. Just go to sportingjacks.com to sign up. You'll get discounts on club merchandise, invitations to VIP events, entries into contests, and chances to win prizes and experiences. Receive the monthly Sporting Jacks email newsletter, too. You can also put your deposit down for season tickets for the Sporting Jacks men's and women's teams and receive an exclusive Sporting Jacks founding member pin. Just go to sportingjacks.com to become a member. More to come on the Sporting Jacks Report after this. All USL Championship games are streamed on ESPN Plus or CBS's Golazo Network, and the next national broadcast comes tonight on CBS Sports Network as Louisville City hosts the Pittsburgh Riverhounds, a 7:30 kickoff on CBS Sports Network. Then on Saturday, it's the first ESPN2 broadcast of the season featuring USL Championship teams as Monterey Bay hosts Oakland Roots. It's a doubleheader starting with a 6 p.m. kick on Saturday on ESPN2. All right, Becky, that segues us perfectly into some big news on the USL Super League front. Last week, the league announced a broadcast partnership with Peacock, where every game will be streamed nationally. How big a deal is this?
Well, I'll tell you this, as someone who has watched women's soccer, or I should say attempted to watch women's soccer for a long time, this I feel like is a groundbreaking space because it's so nice to be able to know it's one spot, one place, every game. I don't know the financial details of this deal, but what I do know is from a fan experience, that part has got me very, very excited.
Well, it's massive. I mean, you think about the first year of a startup league. Yes, they have received first division status from U.S. Soccer, and that's massive. But to have 8 teams growing beyond that in coming seasons and to be able to put it on a national platform like Peacock that's associated with NBC, that is, of course, a huge network. As you say, the exposure of this is fantastic, and for any fans who want to follow, whether it's their team or the league in general, and kind of learn more about what this league is going to be all about in the first season, it's going to be one touch.
Yeah, and not only that, I mean, just think about the doors it opens for the future. You know, championship games on NBC, and just that affiliation, I think, gives massive credibility to the league right from the jump.
There is also a big bit of news this week on the women's soccer front. Thanks to FIFA, no, that's not a typo, they further expanded their protections in terms of maternity leave and how they're protecting players and their salaries if a player is pregnant during the season. This was a massive step forward for FIFA, an organization that hasn't always been accused of being the most progressive.
100%. You know, I honestly did a little bit of a double take when I saw it that it came from FIFA because they haven't been that progressive. But to say that, you know, both coaches, players can get a 14-week maternity leave, doesn't even have to be someone who has biologically their child. They're offering those types of services also for adoptions. I think it just gives so much security to female players and coaches who can tell that their careers aren't going to be disrupted by an event like a pregnancy, because that has definitely been a concern for a lot of players and coaches in the past. Would their club help transition them back? Would they be just sort of like moved to the side? And I think this offers some guarantees that haven't been offered in the past.
Yeah, and looking at some of the the penalties for violating these themes, a team could wind up losing the opportunity to participate in the transfer window, get a big fine. Obviously, nobody wants that. You want to be able to improve your team. Some places in Europe, some countries may cover this with their country law, but this, for FIFA, this is the whole world now, and everybody will be operating under these guidelines.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, employment law just is not equal around the world. And so to have a sort of equal playing field for all professional women players and coaches, that's something that's going to change the game as a whole and just create a lot more safety and security for people in their careers.
No doubt about it. It's a big move forward. All right, well, we'll get more of this as the weeks go by, but we'll have more from Becky coming up in just a moment. It's not too early to become a season ticket member of Sporting Jacks. Just go to sportingjacks.com and put down your deposit. $25 reserves your space for the men's or women's pro teams. And if you want to represent for both, it's just $40. Just go to sportingjacks.com to save your seat for pro soccer in Jacksonville. Coming up, our youth soccer spotlight. We talked about the Florida Elite women's team, USLW #1 of the nation, but now the men's team is having one of their best seasons ever. We check in on the fellas as the Sporting Jacks report continues. Sporting Jacks will be unveiling the official kits in the months to come, but you can already get your own Sporting Jacks official merchandise, from t-shirts and hats to sweatshirts and, of course, the scarf. You can find Sporting Jacks official merchandise at sportingjacks.com, at our official team store on Phillips Highway, and at We Got Soccer. It is time now for our Youth Spotlight presented by the Bearded Pig, and this week we turn the attention to the under-23 men's team at Florida Elite, where the team is enjoying one of its best seasons in club history. Last week, Florida Elite played the last home match of the season, winning 4-0 to improve to 5 wins, 1 loss, and 3 draws this season. With 3 road games remaining on the year, they are in line to make a run at the playoffs. They lead the division with 18 points and have a vision for the rest of the season.
This is exactly what I expected, just the intensity and level of training and just the quality of players and our opponents as well, the quality of the opponents that we play.
The reason I stayed in Jacksonville and have trusted the program for so long is because Sean and my other coach, John, the whole time that I was here was just pushing me on, and I felt like I was in good hands. And they built this community around me so that I could push on.
Goal the rest of the season to continue to be undefeated and hopefully make it to playoffs and win that. We want to go all the way and we want it all.
Sporting Jacks is bringing something to this community that we've never seen before. And now I live in Orlando and I see what a pro team does to the environment. And I've been to Orlando City games. I've seen Tampa Bay Rowdies and seen them up close, and they give kids dreams that we haven't gotten here yet. So I hope that Sporting Jacks can come in and hopefully let kids see the dream that's really right in front of them.
And Becky, we've talked an awful lot about the great talent on the women's side in the Jacksonville area, but to see the success that the USL League 2 team is having on the men's side as well, the U23s, it's been quite a summer. And we keep talking about the summer of soccer, and it's happening everywhere.
I think that was so well said by him in terms of talking about like what it feels like and what it looks like to have that dream right in front of you. And he said it way better than I can, but I just think it makes such a difference to the community and to players like him and players on the W League team as well that can see it right in front of them and have a dream that makes it feel way more like a reality.
Yeah, we talked about the pathway to the pros, and that's the visible example of seeing these kids who are college-age kids playing in USL2 or USLW. They know what the next step can be, and they can see it right in front of their very eyes. All right, more with Becky here in just a moment. The Sporting Jacks Soccer Hour premieres every Monday night at 6 on 1010XL AM. Becky and Mauricio Ruiz and I usually have some interviews and talk about the world of soccer as it is. A lot going on this summer, and we invite you to join us every Monday night at 6, as well as on demand. You can find the 1010XL.com on demand, as well as on the social media for Sporting Jacks. Stick around. There's more of the Sporting Jacks report straight ahead. You can watch the Sporting Jacks Report every Wednesday at noon on ABC 25 with re-airings Saturdays on ABC 25 and on demand at First Coast News Plus, as well as on social media. Becky, we've talked about this summer of soccer, and it seems like every time we turn around, there's another big moment, big story. I think this is something we can expect now moving forward, especially with the World Cup coming to the United States in 2026.
Yeah, I think this is great because it's just like a moment for soccer right now. I mean, there are so many things that are coming together in terms of putting soccer at the forefront of the American population. And we've had it before in spurts, but I'm not sure we've had like this consistent of a presence throughout the entire summer. It's an amazing summer to be a soccer fan, there's no doubt.
And it only goes up from here. Something to watch. Again, Copa America is kind of the centerpiece for what's happening in this country right now. But when you look at what's happening on the youth soccer level here in Jacksonville, and of course the USL Super League launching in August, it has been quite a run here. Becky, thanks so much. We will talk to you again next week.
Sounds great.
And we will be sure to invite you to join us to connect on social media as well. You can connect with Sporting Jacks, see the social media platforms and the tags as well. We'll talk to you next week on the next installment of the Sporting Jacks Report.